Hello, fellow kids. Hola, motherfuckers. Today we're gonna talk about parents. And I want the girls to especially listen because I know you girls think you know. Oh, especially girls. Especially when it comes to parents because they think they have a minimum, you know. And they do, they have that maternal instinct. That doesn't mean you know anything about parents and especially about your own. And I think girls need to hear this. But everybody, y'all motherfuckers too. Girls, I know you might disagree, but fuck you. And I mean that with all due respect, like fuck you. And you know when I say these fuck yous, I'm saying them just like I'm saying them to these kids, to these penis having kids. It's a matter of fucking buckle up because life's not that easy. And not in the sense that I can actually physically do it to you if you were in front of me. Not that I would. I probably would. But I try not to. You know, unless like I get pushed. And what's the limit, you ask? I think the limit, as a guy who, you know, you're fucking in that stage where you want to have a relationship, you're like, fuck it, let's put this monster to sleep for a little bit. I guess even if you're married, like if a hot chick pulls out your penis and just sucks on it, like in a social situation, like in a bathroom of a wedding or some shit, right? Because it's that contrast. I think it's like, as a guy, you can only do so much, man. And as a woman too, but it's more instinctive to kind of like fall into that, you know, I shouldn't do this. Women just fucking cheat better. They're better cheaters. Who the fuck do you think men cheat with? Like men are cheaters. They cheat with fucking women. I never understood this. It's like, just when you say it out loud, doesn't it sound like men are cheaters? Like, what, are they fucking keyholes? Right? And I think like, dude, you can only not chase it as a guy, right? Because it's more like the spotlight is more on us because it's more acceptable that we're pieces of shit, which we probably are. But come on, let's not launder these women's fucking conscience here like clean. You know what I mean? Dude, it comes a certain point as a girl where like if you're bringing out the getting on your knees and sucking dick part, like at which point am I supposed to refuse that? Because listen, ladies, you would if you could. The only thing that, why am I going into a fucking relationship episode? Why? You're not going there today, dude. Today you're talking about parents and why women need to, especially women, get together with them. To not forget to be friends. But I don't mean fucking friends. I mean in the context of them going old. So, whatever the fuck this just was, I'm proud to say, fucking finally, roll the intro, baby.
Pocket watch, impatient. Find a mate, then make the migration. Break the rules, but first break the rulers. And keep it moving like a rumor.
What's up, motherfuckers and motherfuckers? Is that a thing? Today I want to talk about how the fuck do you keep your parents close? I mean, if you're in high school right now, you might be like, you have this concept of parents that they're assholes, or maybe you know, the media portrays kids like they all think parents are assholes. I think kids were always assholes and underappreciative of their parents until they grow older. And I think there's just a proportion of kids that just react to their fucking environment. But because like I said last episode, because every stupid person is louder than the not so stupid person or the one who gives a shit, then the stupid kids come out and they're like, oh, and then you build that shit around. You only see that and compare the own environment that you grew in within your generation, because you had spots in your generation too of levels of how fucked up you were as a kid, or maybe the entourage you kept of the shit you've done. You compare it to the worst of this generation because that's what fuck's visible. And then you, of course, you bathe in that own fucking self-righteousness, like, my generation, like what the fuck I was talking last episode, right? So, yeah. Kids have to grow, but I think it's natural, and a natural part of it is to not let your parents get old, dude. That's what I'm trying to say this episode. I think you have to try to not let your parents get old. And how the fuck do you do that? As you leave for college or work or life or whatever the fuck, as you hide things from them as part of what makes you human, then I think you just create a bubble of what their expectations of you is, and you let them cling on to that as their purpose in the world fades away. Because that's the purpose of life. Like eventually you have to have some kids and trying to leave them as educated as you can to benefit the earth and the future generation, and just be accepting of your death as the years go by and your body breaks down, right? The first example would be from my own childhood and like college specifically. Like, for example, I left for college in a different city and I started smoking. Now I was, a basketball player back in the day, varsity and all that shit. I would always consider, like, my dad used to smoke 2.5 packs a day, like a chain smoker, because that's how he dealt with his stress, right? That was one of his vices, one part of his demon that, who knows, maybe calm down his anxiousness or whatever. We all have our fucking... My mom smoked too. And they asked me, they're like, the only thing, you can do a lot of shit in life, but we feel like we gave you a good chance. The only true thing you can do to disappoint us is to fucking start smoking. What the fuck does this ginger cunt do in his second year of college? He starts smoking like a motherfucker. I mean, 1 pack a day till a month and a half ago. And like, as soon as I realized I'm a smoker, it took maybe a few months, because you can only have, let me tell you this, kids, like, people love to give you vices. Friends love to see you fail. Not in a bad way, but in the way that if you never smoked before when you're younger, maybe some of your friends who already smoke, maybe then you're like a virgin, you know what I mean? You have some responsibility. So maybe then they'll be like, hey, don't start smoking, man, it's stupid. Maybe they'll give you a hint or two maximum, right? But afterwards, you start asking for fucking cigarettes. They'll do, go ahead, take one, take two, because they know, he's gonna start smoking or she's gonna start smoking in a while now. And you do start fucking smoking, right? But once you start smoking, they're like, fucking, can I bounce a cigarette off you? He's like, fuck you, no. And when it comes to quitting, that's exponential, because you're all in the same shitty boat now. Like, you're weak. Well, this is way better. This is what real men do. Well, this is the real taste. I could never live without this and coffee. You try to quit for a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks. One day you're like, fuck it, I can't handle it anymore. You ask a friend for a cigarette, he'll pull up too. He'll do that wave fucking thing. You'll see it in slow-mo. He's like, go ahead, bud. Oh, people are the most giving when you going back to your vices. I think it's funny. I think you should man the fuck up in life, and you should expect, like, friends don't necessarily mean bad by that. They just kind of like, you ask me and you should be your own fucking man, and I'm trying to do the same. So if we're gonna fucking grow, you have to assume some things, so that's cool. I just find it funny. Can you stay on track, you fucking ginger fuck? Yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna tell my folks, and I did. As soon as I bought, like, first pack, the first time I went back home, I told them. I sit my parents down and I said, Mom, Dad, I'm a smoker. Now, I could have lied to them, but it just feels like your parents, it's instinctive for them to build this perfect image around you, because they saw you as a kid who didn't know his ass from his mouth, man. And they guided you. You're like, I know to my dad, I was like a dog who could go buy cigarettes. But also so much more than that. Like, these motherfuckers train you, they grow you, man. So once you develop your own self, it's hard for them to not still look out for your best interest, because they know better. But there comes a point where they might not know so good. They'll still guide you your whole life, and you'll still see yourself as a potential future part of you when you'll be their age, right? But you have to give them a chance, or else they just grow old. Like, one of my girlfriends, my ex-girlfriends, she used to have this thing where she couldn't tell her folks anything. Now, she was a good girl, she really was. But the way that her parents raised them was like the classical, like, I want these girls not to be bothered. She wouldn't allow herself to smoke in front of her dad. And there was this thing where her mom and dad knew she was smoking in a certain way. They couldn't break that wall. And that transcended in a lot of her relationship with her parents on different planes. Like, you could see it in a lot of little things. Of course, there was love, but it was this, like, officialness about it. This traditional kind of things you were supposed to say to each other. And that didn't allow them to be as close to each other when they could. And I'm talking about myself now. I'm talking about every other person. I think this is crucial, dude. As you grow old, the more you tell your parents, Mom, Dad, I'm trying to build life for myself too. And I'm not the perfect kid you maybe would have wanted me to be. I promise you, even if you don't see it through your lens, I'm trying the best I fucking can within these circumstances to respect and remember the good lessons you gave me. But the world is different, and it will always be different for different generations. It will never be the same. There will be cycles, but within your own cycle, it's a wide world that you need to learn and keep track of. So I have to do it my own way from a certain point. And I deal with stress, and I deal with sadness, and maybe I deal with betrayal in relationships, and I'm learning how to deal with these things. So I need escape, and I'm not fucking proud of it, and I hope it won't last too long, but I'm doing this. And maybe then, as parents, they'll remember when they was young. You know what I mean? When they was human, when maybe they used to fuck like lions, and they'll remember that side of them, and now recognize their older side in you, right? Because instinctively, all they'll want to do is see you as a baby to take care of their cub, if they're decent people. And I'm sure a lot of people are. Stop reading into this fucking screaming media too much, kids. It'll depress you. But yeah, you have to always bounce things off them. You should, just because of that single reason, that you will remind them you're human. And that bond will grow. Of course, you're not going to tell them about every ooh and ah in your life. Or else, dude, you know what your parents will become? Your parents will become what my grandma became to my mom till a certain point, till I had the wisdom to try to make her a bit more aware, because she'll be that age someday and she wouldn't want to be treated that way. But my mom, the way she treats her mom was, oh, all right, Mom, just leave me alone. I know what, and my grandma is great. I love her. She raised me. I love you, Grandma. I know you don't understand this, but always screamed at my mom. So my mom naturally, especially if you're going to be parents, I think if we're going to be parents, what the fuck do I know? These are just ramblings. But if you're going to be parents, dude, you have to not be too harsh on your kid, because that's how my grandma was. And my mom, and she couldn't even find middle ground. Not that she tried, because she was impulsive as a young woman, the way she says it, right? But that's why she liked my dad, I guess. Yeah, but my grandma never gave her a chance. She never tried. And there was always this gap where she projected to grandma until a certain age how she wanted grandma to see her, just because she had other shit on her mind and she wouldn't make the little effort to like have the ovaries or the balls or the soul. Sure, say it like a pussy. to tell grandma, okay, Mom, listen, this is how I am, and these are that whole thing. To try to make that little gap, like I'm human. And of course, my grandma grew old until the point where she just didn't matter, because there's this. Maybe this is gonna sound stupid to some of you kids, but I think the way parents kind of can overprotect you as a kid, once you grow old, you can the balance shifts. Your parents become more unable physically, even mentally, in sense that they could be like normal people, but maybe not understand the times as much. We won't at a certain point. You think you'll always be interested in every fucking thing that happens? No, you'll be closer to the proximity of your demise, which is normal, and you'll reevaluate lives, and we do that every step. So I think they have to be kept in the loop as much as possible. And that implies sometimes standing up to them and tell them what they don't particularly want to hear. And besides that, of course, be respectful and make them laugh and accept them. Some don't try to change them too much, because yeah, they become the kids, dude. And there's such a thing as overprotecting your parents too. I truly think that as they grow older, you just spare their feelings with a lot of ways, and they'll know it's not there either. It's just gonna be harder for them. Because think about it, dude. Isn't this like true for every fucking relationship in this life? Like, if you wanna keep your friends close, like in my group, I always try to break the ice with different things. In my group of friends, with being stupid and acting stupid. You know, I didn't mind being the clown if I would say some outrageous thing and have them say, oh, you know, Cosman, what a fucking idiot. But I would address some little things that maybe wouldn't be addressed fast and quick, with the risk of kind of being the asshole a little bit, just so we could address what was bothering us. Because if we wouldn't have, I think we would have broken into our own little corners and our own little subgroups and starting gossiping each other and building resentment. And in the end, it would break off. That's how it is with everybody, truly. When you want to get closer to anybody, you stand up to them. You don't always tell them what they want to hear. And if your values at a certain crucial cross point don't coincide, then you go your ways, man. But you have your clear conscience that you were friends with him and he was friends with you truly up till that point. And maybe you'll reevaluate life after that and your choices and friends and your future type of friends you adopt. But you always have the memory of being friends with that person until you weren't friends anymore, like truly. We grew apart. Life goes on. I was saying last episode, man. You only have a few years until you get from under your parents' wings and build your own family. Once that cycle begins, it's normal to be in this fucking like roller coaster where you kind of focus on this and the world matters less, and you come out on the other side where your kids turn 18 and they leave and you don't know what the fuck you're doing with your life. You're looking at your loved one, you don't know a lot of things that made you human before, like sexuality and stuff, now kind of transcended into these kids. You look at this person like, who the fuck are you? Who are we? How do you readjust to society once your kids like leave home? It's like thinking about your parents having sex. It's gross, but they do it, and hopefully they do. Who gives a shit? I hope your parents fuck, and if they're healthy and they were decent people, of course, right? I hope they fuck, because that means in their own little ways that they still, or at least pinch each other's asses if it's not medically possible anymore, like physically, right? Like, I hope they still have that spark. Isn't that what we should all chase once our demon physically dies down? Impotence, menopause, right? It's normal. You still become their world. They have to fucking take care of you. You have to give them that. You have to let them help you in some little ways so they feel relevant. It's like those people who just finish work and retire, and then their life kind of has no purpose anymore, and you just become old, man. Once you don't feel like you influence the world in any ways, you become old. That's why I know my old man. My old man, he'll always have a career, like in his crazy way. Maybe he won't be so efficient at it. My mom, the same. It's like he'll need to have to feel relevant, that he brings value, because or else he'll grow old. With kids too, if parents feel they don't contribute to their kids not one bit, they just, the part of who they were as people and their identity in this world fades away. I know it might sound like fucking stupid for some of you. Fuck you. Go see other channels. I'm trying to talk to some kids. Yeah, goes for relationships too, dude. It goes for fucking sex, not only relationships, especially for sex and attraction, and for relationships. You start falling into that pedestal mode. She's my wife, I can't do that to her. All the fucking evil, that's why they say, that song, I'm a whore, I'm a mother, I'm a lover, that fucking, you fucking know. That's what that fucking song is. Like, it's complimentary, and some women go through some shit, men go through some shit, and on the man's side, there's your evil side when you go to fucking, like, I don't know, maybe through your work, or through your day-to-day, or for whatever the fuck your perceptions are, women piss in your soul in some way, maybe life's not fair, maybe some of them you see some clear advantages. I'm sure they see theirs too. Every fucking side of the sex sees the other side's only advantages, right? And I'm not even gonna go into that right now, but that is involved in sexuality too, man. You start building that, he's my husband, I will never do that, she's my wife. You bring up the pedestals, and if you don't address it, then the sex will die, and you'll want to go fuck other women and keep that little porcelain of wife home, feeling like just the mother, like half of her side, her sexuality was gone. You have to make an effort, dude. Maybe don't jerk off so much, or maybe remind yourself why this fucking it has to do with what we do. Do we grow? Dude, if you're the same person you were a year ago, try harder, like truly. And if you jerk off to the same things you were jerking off when you were 18, try harder, man. It is not that simple. You evolve, you see more complexity, so it's natural for both of them to change. If you're jerking off to the same fucking thing as you were 10 years ago, or even 3 years ago, you didn't grow much, dude. I'm sorry. The sex is linked with fucking relationships. And if you don't address that with your lady, if you can't tell her what's bothering you, and then address that in fucking, and then leaving it at the fucking shower, point to, all right, shower, then it'll go to shit, I think. And we're not meant to be together anyway. And let me tell you, people, when it comes to relationships, dude, when it comes to trying to remember your wife's a whore too, because whatever, that's what makes you feel dirty. And when she hears it, she's so happy that you're happy, or whatever the fuck she feels. She satisfies her monsters, her voices, her validations, right? And you know how you address that, man? I think you have to half say it in day-to-day life and half say it in fucking. I hope I get this point across. Half saying what's bothering you to your wife in day-to-day life in the kitchen while she's cooking, and half in the sack. Like, she fucked up with a little thing. Don't go full fangs ahead trying to put her in a box just because you can't grow anymore. So you need to make her feel small so your king feels like a king, right? She'll be just this battered, like, being. She loses a part of yourself within the relationship, man. Or maybe she'll go searching somewhere else. So that'll kill the demon. They'll go with fights. She starts putting up points on the chalkboard. You know what I mean? So you did this, you did that. It's gonna become an eye-rolling contest eventually. And we all know what that fucking is. We all know the fucking couples that roll. They can't even help themselves, you know, or try to enjoy themselves when they go out with friends. It's just a eye-rolling fucking contest. People just go, ugh. All right, we all know what the fuck that means, but let's play this game, right? You don't go that way because the sex dies, right? But you don't go the other way either. You don't go that polite way where this is the way society and this is my wife, and you don't go too much in that direction with the pretending, because then it will be just like fucking that sad fucking and she doesn't know what the fuck is going on. Don't get me wrong, that can be fun, sure, but not just that, because it's just like being, let's go to the church and then fucking I can't even look at my wife. I like fucking doggy style because I can think of all the dirty fucking faces and think about all the dirty fucking things, and she can think about hers, and it's sad, you know? So you have to bridge that too. So it has to do with the same thing as with the parents, man. You have to break the ice. Baby, this bothered me about you. She's like, I'm sorry, baby, I just didn't realize, or, you know, you're like, it's no biggie. Give her a slap on the ass, you know? That's a little mental cue, a little animal check. Like, I'm gonna cash this check in later. You know what I mean? There's a balance there. And I'm not saying you should accept it always, but you're man and wife in the end. So you give her a little like, I know you're a woman, baby, and you fuck up. But it's all good, because I fuck up. And you give me a break sometimes. Maybe you pinch it. And you address it. Those are the cute things. You also do the harder things where she, you know what is hard, man? You know what's hard? It's hard to let your girl know she's going out of shape. It is. You can't expect your woman to just be fit like that for multiple reasons. One of them is you have to lead by example. And motherfuckers, I never truly did. I kind of looked okay because I was into sports, but I was a piece of shit. So I kept it at a sub-medium, almost completely gross level, you know what I mean? But that's okay. You have to like try to make an active effort with your woman. I think it's part of growing, right? Like, baby, you have to fight this monster off together. Make a little fucking contract. Don't bring sweets into the house. You help her out, like, to discover this new recipe you cook for her on one Sunday. You know, I would try this out. She loves it, which in translation is it's not as good as the buttery fucking shit that makes us feel good, but it'll do, and that's good enough for me. You know, maybe you do some of that shit, and then it will translate to fucking, because you can address it. And people, I'm gonna have long talks about talking during fucking, and a lot of things related to that. But yes, then you'll see it in sex too, and you'll keep that little butterfly alive. And there's a lot of sides to it, because goddamn it, I'm not gonna present them all. I can't wait to start the fucking sexual episodes with you. I just want to talk to you motherfuckers for realsies. Like, you can get your, you know, stupid shit from others. Would you stop fucking sucking your own dick? But I try at least, you know? Suck a dick. Alright.
I'm over 30, can't maintain relations. All these women wanna hurt me, and I just don't have the patience.
So yeah, man. It's hard to tell your girl she's getting chubby. Because it's okay, man. You can't be this, like, even if you lead by example and you're this fucking dude, like, you have to understand we all have bad periods, and you give your girl a break. You're like, it's okay, man. Maybe, baby, you're going through a bad time. She puts on a little weight. I'm sure you even love that too. Maybe you love a bit the fact that she hates herself, you know. But here's the catch though. You can fall in love with that if you don't grow anymore, huh? That's what dads did all over the world, and they'll keep doing it long after we're gone. Because you can't grow anymore, and you just fucking take it out on your wife and make her feel small, like I said, right? So you fall in love with that shit. You can't fall in love with putting your wife on a pedestal, and you can't fall in love with making your wife feel like shit either. There's a middle ground, and it's a try. You're like, oh, there's no formula, motherfuckers. I don't know if it works for me. I'm just trying to figure out how I work, you know, and how you work, so we can get along. So as much as I can do is try, but it's active with your parents, with your girl, with your neighbor. So yeah, dude, grow some balls. That's what I'm trying to say. Grow some balls, and you know, better to have a few good friends than fucking thousands of shitty ones. Say it to your girl. The sex will improve. Try to say things, but without breaking her down, and make her aware that you're doing that. Like when she brings out her thanks, because don't expect her to know. Like women make this mistake. Like they expect guys to like know and see when it's done. You have to make us aware that it's an effort too. So you do that. Like, see, baby, I'm trying. Like, come on. And they'll try if they're worth shit. If not, try again, motherfucker. Don't live miserably. Try to live honest to yourself. And then deal with your fucking demons. Family the same. Parents. You try, because I think when this is dark as shit, but you'll be closer to them when they die. You will. You'll be able to at least tell them part of what makes you, and what part of them you're proud to have, and what part of them you try to fight off. Not judgmentally. If you're lucky, listen, dude, if they were pieces of shit, but that depends on your standard of piece of shit. That depends on your level of relativity and what you think you deserve, right? But halfway through, if they tried, man, I don't know. I think you should keep them young and tell them. Girls, I know it's fucking hard. Sometimes you maybe you have an abortion. It's horrible. Sometimes you have a friend around. You help yourself deal with that. Sometimes you don't. Your mom can be that. Or maybe she can find out later, but tell her, Mom, I've been through this. Maybe she hasn't. She didn't tell you. And then you'll know something about her. Maybe she'll admit some of the, what's human inside her as a mom. And you'll have that bonding moment together, which will help you, because she'll admit she's not perfect, and you will too, and maybe you'll learn something. That's not a maybe. There's no maybe there. Surely it'll happen. You just have to have the balls, man. And risk being the clown. Whatever, say it. If it feels true and you know you mean no real harm, or you don't escalate the situation, do it. Step into tension. Like some of my wise friends say. Yeah, you have to deal with it. And I was never, like with my parents, we started from yelling it out, and then we kind of learned to talk it out. But we always address stupid stuff. And even, how your family, like, spirit is a bit more direct in your closeness? You address dirty shit. You and your brothers and your parents. Maybe your dad makes a sex joke, your mom laughs. They know what they mean, but you're not allowed to fucking say it. You know what I mean? It's that type of shit. Your fucking mom farts, your dad cracks up like it's the funniest thing you ever heard, right? It's that little grossy shit where you learn with each other, like, we're human, dude. Our family, so we have to, and I think that's like a little part of it. Like, there's many signs, I think, but if you had that, I think you really had a head start in trying to get close to your parents, because that by itself tells each other we're human first. Yeah, not that mom, oh my god, put the kid down, what are you doing? That type of mom. Like, Jonathan, how dare you? Like, would you be surprised that mom is still a woman to her husband? Unless she has this, like, completely kinky side, and a lot of women do, where it's just like a switch, and that's their dark side to keep in check, right? Unless it's that, then nobody would believe this woman would have passion in her life. Hey kids, I hope this wasn't too boring. I'm gonna hopefully leave for Amsterdam. Follow me on the vlogging channel. Again, it's ROMERCIAL, because I'm gonna have a knee surgery, it seems, in a few weeks, and I'll probably won't be able to do any work or anything, so most of the shit will just be me ranting with a shitty microphone and an awful image. So, normal YouTube, you know what I mean? Yeah, man. Talk to your parents, motherfuckers. And I wish you well. Is this the end? Usually make it cooler. Oh, fuck them. I'm human, motherfucker. Sometimes it doesn't end cool. This song is cool, though. Thanks for watching.
It trips me out how you pick up all my traits, from the way that you spit to the fists that you make. I watch the way you try to keep your mom happy. Daddy learned that from you, you're supposed to learn that from daddy. I can't teach much when it comes to women. I drive safe and slow but don't know nothing about the engine. You're doing good, little man, that's all I really meant. I love you, you're my best friend, thanks for listening.